Well, what we do in Scotland is offer a conference with a more local feel for members of the IIA in Scotland, and to give them something that they don't have to travel too far to get to, and has all of the topics that they would want and are attributable to members of the IIA in Scotland. The thing I enjoy especially about the Scottish Conference is that it brings together internal auditors from various sectors. So we've got public sector, private sector, not-for-profit sector internal auditors here, which is great. We've got people from the Scottish Government, we've got local authorities represented, financial services, manufacturing, and it just gives us an environment where we can learn from each other's experiences, because as internal auditors, our experiences are different in different organisations, and it gives us a shared place where we can talk to each other, learn from experiences, and grow as a profession together.
There's a great atmosphere in the room. Everybody's really keen to hear all the speakers, take good practice away, share with other people, and really, sort of engage, so they can improve their performance of their teams back at base.
I love coming to the Institute of Internal Auditor conference in Scotland. I'd had a number of years of going to the England Institute conference, and there's a lovely warm atmosphere here. The audience is surprisingly big, over 100, but it's a lovely size to enable real open dialogue and discussion to take place, which I find really engaging. And it's in Scotland, and the view out of the window is lovely.
This is my 4th year coming to the Scottish Conference. I think it's a great opportunity to network with like-minded people, looking at the challenges ahead in terms of internal audit. Great value as well, and it's always good fun.
I was delighted to be asked to come and talk to the Chartered Institute of Internal Auditors today. I like any opportunity to talk about my organisation and to talk about Falkirk, but it's also very, very good to be able to recognise that internal auditors in a multifunctional organisation such as a local authority have a very key role to play, and if I've helped to explain that today, I'm very happy.
Organisations, whether it's public or private sector, are increasingly interdependent, not just nationally but internationally and also internally. So those who lead those organisations need to understand what those interdependencies imply in terms of links between people, in terms of establishing trust, in terms of determining who's responsible for what and in what timescale, identifying what resources are needed and making sure they're available to those who've been made accountable for delivering tasks.
I think coming to the Dunblane Hydro for the conference is an excellent change. It's a wonderful location, the facilities are amazing. I think it's central for a lot of people across the Scottish community to get to. I think it's a great location.
Well, the Chartered Institute of Internal Auditors is really going from strength to strength. It's good to know that internal audit is in demand, expectations are increasing on the role of internal audit, and the Institute is there to play its part in engaging in dialogue with the regulators, with the policy makers, and with business and public sector organisations as a whole, to make sure that they understand the role and the value that internal audit can provide.
I decided to self-fund and use my own time for this particular conference because I find this type of experience extremely valuable in my day-to-day work. I mean, the opportunity to talk with other people in the profession and share my knowledge and just basically confer with other people as to what the key issues are in internal audit. It's just such a fantastic opportunity to do that, and to be honest, I think it's well worth the money and well worth the time.
I think one of the things that attracted me to the conference this year in particular was this theme of the critical friendship, and I thought that was an interesting concept, and I was fascinated to see how that would work out in terms of when you start to put flesh in it. It's very easy often to come up with a slick phrase, and then when you try to put some flesh in the bones, it turns out really not to mean very much. This one, there's an image of that, there's an idea of that that seems to me to have gradually built up across the morning. I think it's still got some way to go. And that was something I was particularly interested to watch that process and how it came out. But again, as I say, for me the joy of this is it's a world with which I'm not particularly intimately familiar. So I'm hearing stuff that's new to me, and that can scare the living daylights out of a journalist, but it's very good for us.
I think the conference so far has been very informative. I'm fairly new into my role, about 5 months in, so going through the learning process of going into and developing an audit team has been very beneficial being here.
The atmosphere is good. As I say, I tend to come along the conference. Great networking opportunity, a chance to speak to people about the challenges of current day. So people are quite energised about internal audit just now, which I think is fantastic.
So the invite to the Scottish Conference came because of my role in the Institute as President. I started off my internal audit volunteering career in Scotland, and coming here today was a great opportunity to just reconnect with people I know, and the opportunity to meet with members and share and discuss ideas and listen to great speakers.
In the past, the public sector had a rather fragmented approach to standards. CIPFA had its own guidance for local government, central government had its government internal audit standards, and the health sector had developed its standards. Now, some of those were based on the IIA's global standards, others were not. It was important in the work that we're now doing with CIPFA to pull all of that together, to take a common, consistent approach to standards across the whole of the public sector. And I think internal auditors working in the public sector will benefit enormously from that.
I chose internal auditing as a career because my passion was risk management. I stumbled across internal auditing as a role, but once I found it, I really found my niche. I think it's an exciting career. You get to see so much of an organisation, you get to stretch so many skills that you have, both interviewing skills, facilitation, negotiating, liaising with new people at all levels within an organisation. I think it's a very well-rounded career.
The role of the internal audit manager and his team has become more important as the pressures on local government have grown. I think it's really important that we're clear about the sort of key financial risks, for example, but the role is much, much wider than that.
Yeah, one of the speakers today was particularly relevant. I think James Patterson, our own business is going through a lot of change right now. And I think some of the things he was saying around changing the practices of internal audit were particularly relevant for us.
I find this type of conference and these type of experiences very valuable. The ability to share knowledge and to talk with other people in the industry provides me with so much information that I can use and take back into my day-to-day work. So I find it really, really exciting and actually really valuable. So I think it's worth the money and I think it's worth my time.
KPMG are delighted to sponsor the conference. The alignment of values between the IIA and what KPMG are trying to do in internal audit is there. It's great visibility for KPMG as a brand and as a great attendance list and list of speakers. So we're really delighted to be doing sponsoring the conference today.